Diddy filmed his own documentary right before his arrest, but now 50 Cent owns the footage. This Netflix doc reveals Diddy's darkest secrets, from betrayal to murder allegations, and confirms what his critics have said for decades. You'll never look at him the same after this. Which moment shocked you most? Tupac's alleged bounty or the hidden contracts after Biggie's death? Let me know in the comments. And if you saw the Netflix doc, was it worse than you imagined? Imagine filming your own documentary, only for your enemies to use it against you. That's exactly what happened to Diddy. In the days leading up to his arrest, he was working on what looked like a legacy project. But once the walls closed in, he scrapped the project and refused to pay the videographers. That decision backfired. They sold the footage to Netflix and 50 Cent. Now, we're seeing clips Diddy never meant to release, raw, unfiltered, and damning. Diddy tried to control the story. He lost control of the footage. Never document a lie if you can't handle the truth surfacing. It happened long before Travis Scott's Astroworld disaster, but with eerily similar consequences. In the early 2000s, Diddy organized a hyped-up charity basketball game, one that spiraled into tragedy. The event went over capacity, with no crowd control and barely any staff. 9 people lost their lives. And Diddy? He moved assets into his mother and friends' names to dodge lawsuits. Not a dollar went toward the victims' families. He marketed the event for clout. He ghosted it when it turned fatal. If this breakdown is just getting your attention, do me one solid. Hit that like button, subscribe. We have a lot to break down. Why would a billionaire mogul cling to a mystical symbol like his life depended on it? The documentary opens with Diddy squeezing a trependant, a pagan amulet believed to offer spiritual protection. He didn't wear it for fashion. He gripped it like a shield, as if it could stop the collapse he knew was coming. When spiritual symbols are used like armor, it's often a sign of guilt, fear, or both. When billionaires reach for magic, it means power is slipping. Whether you believe in the occult or not, Diddy clearly did, and it shaped how he moved. To the cameras, Diddy grins and poses with fans. But when the lenses are off, he hops in the car and says he needs to take a boiling hot bath in peroxide just to feel clean again. That one quote revealed more than any headline. The people who built his empire, bought his albums, and screamed his name, he viewed them as dirty, as less than. To Diddy, fans weren't family, they were filth to rinse off. Not every celebrity loves their audience. Some just use them as props. The documentary doesn't tiptoe around it. It plays the actual interrogation audio of Keefe D openly claiming Diddy put $1 million bounty on Tupac and Suge Knight's heads. Not rumors, not online conspiracy talk. His own associate telling police that once Tupac was gone, he reported the hit back to Diddy, and a $500,000 payment was allegedly sent to a middleman who kept the money. This wasn't rap beef, this was a hit contract. Even decades later, Tupac still lived in Diddy's head. One witness, a paid freak-off participant, describes a moment where a Tupac song accidentally started playing during a private party. Diddy instantly snapped, demanding it be turned off. The reaction wasn't normal. It was rage, it was guilt, it was fear. Some ghosts refused to leave. Diddy wanted Tupac's spotlight. He wanted his respect. He wanted his legacy. And according to the doc, he might have destroyed a legend to get it. A gat goes off in a Manhattan club, J-Lo ducks, chaos erupts, Diddy walks. Why? Because the documentary reveals he set Shine up from the start. He hired Shine's lawyers, but they weren't there to protect Shine. They tricked him into a self-defense plea, knowing NYC doesn't allow that in gun cases. Shine basically confessed and sealed his own sentence. Diddy stayed free by orchestrating the fall. Biggie didn't want to go to Cali. He knew the heat was real after Tupac's death. But according to those close to him, Diddy insisted, even canceling Biggie's appearances outside LA to trap him in hostile territory. And when the worst happened, Diddy claimed Biggie made the call. The documentary contradicts that, showing Diddy planted the seed and pulled the strings. Was Biggie's death bad luck or bad leadership? In hip-hop, being the boss comes with a burden, and Diddy keeps passing that burden to the grave. Biggie was supposed to grace the cover of Rolling Stone. That was his moment. But Diddy allegedly swooped in and took it for himself, pulling industry strings to replace Biggie with his own face. The man couldn't even let Big have his flowers. In Diddy's world, Loyalty ends where ego begins. When power is your addiction, even your closest allies become competition, and Diddy played to win, no matter the cost. If this breakdown has you side-eyeing every D track you've ever liked, you're not alone. Tap that like button if this doc exposed more than you expected, and subscribe, because in the second half, we're diving into Diddy's disturbing manipulation of Cassie, the shocking Little Rod testimony, and how the media helped him walk free. It gets worse from here. I'll Be Missing You was framed as a heartfelt tribute, but behind the scenes, the documentary suggests it was the launch pad for Diddy's solo career. He used Biggie's death as the opening act to a new empire, dropping music, building brand deals, and crying on camera while climbing the charts. The grief was real, but so was the marketing strategy. In Diddy's game, tragedy wasn't an end. It was a promotional opportunity, and that mindset set the tone for everything that followed. Cassie met Diddy at just 18. He was a music mogul. She was chasing a dream. What followed, the doc reveals, was less romance and more psychological imprisonment. He controlled her career, her image, and her body, allegedly turning her into a pleasure slave. She wasn't dating a mogul. She was surviving a manipulator. Capricorn Clark, a former Bad Boy affiliate, recalls a chilling moment when Diddy found out Kid Cudi was getting close to Cassie. Diddy didn't just get jealous, he got strategic. Clark says Diddy used him as a pawn to bait Cassie back emotionally, threatening her safety and smearing her image behind closed doors. This wasn't love, this was hostage-style power games. The abuse wasn't physical alone, it was psychological warfare, with Cassie surrounded by Diddy's loyal enablers. Security footage shown in the documentary shows Cassie trying to flee. She tried to slip away. She almost made it, but Diddy intercepted her. In that moment, the illusion shattered. This wasn't just a toxic relationship, it was an imprisonment in real time. People blamed her for staying. They didn't realize she couldn't leave. Victims aren't always held by force. Sometimes they're held by fear, isolation, and career blackmail. He was supposed to be a music producer, not a witness to crimes. In the documentary, Little Rod alleges Diddy sedated him and violated him, while also describing Diddy's violent attacks on others. One story involved a man being beaten in the studio, then covered up like it never happened. Rod says when Diddy was done using him, he refused to pay him a dime. He left with trauma. Diddy left with tracks. The silence around Diddy wasn't random. Nearly every person who spoke in the doc admitted the same thing. They waited for Cassie to go public before saying anything. Why? Because Diddy ruled through fear. He controlled careers, media narratives, and retaliation networks. They weren't protecting him, they were protecting themselves. Silence isn't loyalty, it's survival. In one clip, Diddy storms into a room and says, "Get off the phone, I'm bringing in professionals." That single sentence sums up how he moved. He'd create the chaos, then demand solutions from the very people he just destabilized. Over and over, he used guilt, money, or careers to pressure those around him into protecting him. It wasn't damage control, it was a control strategy. The documentary suggests Diddy spent millions manipulating the media, buying favorable coverage, and flooding platforms with distractions. The result? Lighter charges, faster releases, damage control disguised as redemption. What should have ended his legacy became a rebrand. Justice never stood a chance against that much cash. The Diddy documentary isn't just about one man's fall. It's about how power, money, and fear created an industry where monsters could thrive in plain sight. From Tupac and Biggie to Cassie and Little Rod, this wasn't random. This was systemic.